Hi everyone, this is Boogass Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Marvel Legends Vintage Wave Punisher figure. So before we take a look at Punisher, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with this. Now I'm very disappointed with this accessory. It's supposed to be like a bazooka or a missile launcher or something. It's a weapon that came with Drax from the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 figure. I couldn't find mine anywhere because I didn't like the launcher, missile launcher, or whatever it was when it came with Drax. And I still don't like it when it comes with Punisher. Especially with a character like the Punisher. Like, he should be armed to the teeth. A Punisher figure should come with guns, missiles, rifles. He should come with every weapon imaginable. And then Hasbro just gives us this missile launcher. This really weird looking one, too. And it's cast in that gray plastic. It has a little bit of marbling in it, and it's black. And I think the color is just about the same on it as the one that came with Drax. Like I said, I didn't like it then. I really do not like it now. So let's go ahead and put that in his hand. So let me see here. It's actually very difficult to get moved around. By the time you actually get it in his hand, it wants to fall over like that because it's heavy. I suppose if you do that, it kind of works. That was the problem I have with it with Drax, is I really couldn't get it lined up that great. There you can have him holding it like that. But, like I said, the Punisher, the one thing that I was really disappointed by was that the Walgreens version didn't come with any holsters or anything, or any pistols. And this one doesn't either, and I really thought that we would get some pistols or something like that with him. Or at least a holster. And he does come with an alternate head. Now, I do have to say, this peg is so much better than the Walgreens exclusive version because the peg was clear up here. And I had to shave it down some because he had a giraffe neck. And this alternate head has the bandana on it. And I really love this version because he has that red bandana, and that really reminds me of Rambo, so I really like that one. And now I'll show it as compared to the previous version. I'll just pop the head off the previous one. So there's the previous one. He had a white bandana. I really don't like this piece of hair right here that's flopped over the bandana. But since he kind of looks like he's going on a warpath more with the bandana on, it doesn't bother me as much. You can see that the skin tones are different. I think the new one's skin tone is a lot more spot on than this one. I think this one's just a little bit too pale for Punisher. This one looks very tan, like he's been out in the sun a lot, like I would imagine Punisher has been. So I do like that. And then let me just switch the head back here to the regular version. So looking at the head sculpt, this is what mainly bothers me right here. Is this piece of hair right here. I wonder if you took like an X-Acto knife or something, if you could cut it off. Or I'm not sure if it's cast in this kind of plastic or not. It might be cast in the black plastic and the skin tone's just painted on, like the neck right here. But I really like this head sculpt. It's definitely better than the previous one. Mine was a little bit cross-eyed. And I do like the 5 o'clock shadow on the Walgreens exclusive version. But I really don't like the red circles around the eyes on this one. I don't know. He just kind of looks way too tired. Plus those eyes. Like, one eye is clear over here and dark, and this one's really light and over here. So that's why the head sculpt bothered me on this one. So here you get the classic Punisher logo, which this is the Punisher logo that I really prefer as compared to this Punisher. Let me show this off. This is the 90s Punisher, and this is just the classic Punisher look. This is more towards the late 90s look. I think it was Punisher War Journal is when he had this right here. That's what this specific look is from. More than like one look. He's more like Warzone, and this is classic Punisher, which I do like the look of this one better, just because that's the classic Punisher logo right there. And on the belt on mine, I did get some paint rub right there, like it's missing the black in those lines right there. If you line it up, it doesn't look too bad. Like, looking at it from back here, you really can't tell. But up close, you can tell that it's got a little bit of paint missing and the black missed its mark by just a little bit right there. But everything's pretty clean on this figure, actually. One thing Hasbro did include with this new version is the trigger fingers, which I think is better than the previous version because Punisher came with guns and didn't come with trigger fingers. So this does improve upon that one. And the belt on this one, let me raise his hands up there. The skull's teeth right there were white, and the belt was brown. And I like this one better because the belt is white all around. Here you can see they're the same thing, but I do like the design of this one better, just because it is classic Punisher, and this is the vintage wave Punisher, which makes a little more sense. Everything else is really just the same. On mine, there was a little bit of white showing right there, and that's the same on this figure. So I guess the from the forearm down was cast in white plastic, and then they painted the black over. Which you could just fix that with a Sharpie if you wanted to. It's nothing really major. You really don't notice unless you have it like that. So I really wish that this Punisher would have came with more weapons. I mean, I do like the head sculpt better on this new one, and the skull, and the belt. But I like how the other one came with, like, the ammo belt around the arms, like the bandolier, I think it's called. I like that it came with a bazooka, an actual bazooka. That's how one looks. Not like this thing. This one does still have the peg hole, so if you want to port that into his back, you can. But you can see this one just came armed to the teeth, and this one just came with a pathetic missile launcher. So now I'm going to go over the articulation. He's got a ball-jointed head that can look back that far. He can look down, actually, all the way. But that kind of looks funny. He kind of looks like his head just about broke off, or has been ripped off and it's just laying there. So that does kind of look a little bit unnatural when you move it down like that. He's got ball-jointed shoulders that can only move out that far. I do wish they could move out just a little bit further. He's got a swivel at the bicep, double-jointed elbow, swivel at the wrist that can move back and forth, and side to side. He's got an ab crunch that can move down all the way. And the belt doesn't interfere because you can move it up and down. You can crunch back that far. He's got a swivel at the waist that can only move that far because of the belt right there. And you can move it up a little bit, but it still hinders it. Doesn't really bother me. I don't think I'm going to be moving his waist that much. He's got ball-jointed hips that can only move out that far. He can kick forward all the way and back just a little bit. He's got a swivel at the thigh. It's very hard to move. You can hear that kind of noise when you're trying to move it. So this one does have a stiff thigh joint, just like the Walgreens exclusive one did. He's got a double jointed knee, swivel at the shin, or swivel at the boot, I should say, swivel at the ankle, and an ankle rocker. So the articulation is the same on the figure. Like, the only thing that's actually different, everything is the same on this figure. The only real thing that's different is the fingers, because he has the trigger fingers. But one thing I forgot to point out was, let me see here. Let me move it out like that. I think the trigger fingers look a little pointy. Like, they look like someone cut them with an X-Acto knife. They just look too pointy. I don't know, that bothers me a little bit. So now let's do some size comparisons. Let me get him to stand right there. There. So here he is next to the Walgreens exclusive Punisher. And they are the same thing. They stand at the same height and everything. So leave a comment down below and tell me which one you like better. The classic Punisher or the Warzone Punisher. Or, you know, this Punisher. Here he is next to the Netflix Daredevil. I would do a comparison to the comic Daredevil, but I do not have that yet. And then here's the interesting part of what I really wanted to do. Here he is next to the Netflix Punisher, the TV show Punisher. And I was wondering if you could switch the heads on these two to get like a early 2000s Punisher going on. Let's see here. It looks like the ball peg will fit on there. Yeah, the skin tone's a little off, but that actually really doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty good like that. So let's see. Now let's see if the TV Punisher head will go on the comic Punisher body. And the skin tone isn't really too off on this one. So there you can see them with swapped heads. And that actually doesn't look that bad at all. I mean, that actually looks pretty cool. And imagine if Jon Bernthal wore this in the show. That would be really awesome. It actually looks pretty macho like that. So now let's switch the heads back here. Set that right there. And now I will put his only accessory that he comes with back in his hand. Now, like I said, it is hard to get it in his hand because you kind of have to wedge it at an angle to get it in. Let me show it like this. You have to kind of wedge it in like this. Oh wait, I'm putting it in the wrong way. It is very difficult to get this in his hand. Then you have to move it like that, which it's a pain. And I stretched his hand out. If you have this in his hand, oh, oops, and it wants to fall out by the time you actually do get it in his hand, because his hands are stretched out from it, so that definitely annoys me. So, honestly, if you don't have the Walgreens Punisher, I'd recommend getting this, but if you have it, I don't know. I like this, but I don't feel like it's worth the $20, especially if you have the Walgreens Punisher, because this one comes with a lot more accessories, and it's the same thing. This is just a repaint. So honestly, if you have that one, I would stick with that one. But if you don't, I'd recommend getting this one. So that's my review. And if you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.